Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, Merry Christmas to everybody watching from the family at Game On Wisconsin, and to Artec Ventures. Merry Christmas, and thank you everybody for watching and supporting this entire year. I hope you are doing well. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas and a good morning. But for this afternoon and for the next few hours, it is time for Green Bay Packers football. So it's been a while. Little bit of a life update for those of you who have been missing out. I recently moved. I recently graduated college, and I recently got engaged. So if you've been wondering where I've been and what I've been up to, well, that is where I've been, and that is what I've been up to. So I've been very busy. I've been without internet some weeks. I've been on planes. I've been all over the place. But now it is time for the pre-snap game on Wisconsin. I am here and ready for you today. A little bit of an update. I will not be here for the post route. Going to be doing some Christmas stuff with my family. Only going to take up a little bit of your holiday time today. So we're going to be doing the pre-snap, and then after that, you're going to watch some Green Bay Packers victorious football on this beautiful Sunday. No, it is Saturday. On this Saturday afternoon. If you want to be jealous of me, I'm currently in Texas and it is 80 degrees. So I'm wearing my Packers sweatshirt because I want to represent right now, but I am absolutely sweating because it's very hot and it is 80 degrees. So if you want to be jealous of me, go ahead. But wherever you are, whatever the weather is, is going on, I hope you are enjoying yourself today. Yeah, I am very excited. This is the first time in my recent memory that the Packers have been playing on Christmas Day. I don't remember the last time it happened. I probably should know that for the show, but I don't. So apologies for that. But I do know that the last time the Packers played the Browns, that was in 2017, December 10th. Packers beat the Browns 27-21 in overtime. I remember watching that game. I believe I was in a Buffalo Wild Wings. That was a Deshaun Kaiser game, if I remember correctly. Aaron Rodgers was out, I think, with his collarbone injury at that time. How's it going, Nate? And I believe that was a Deshaun Kaiser game. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, last time Packers played the Browns was 4 years ago. Packers won in overtime. Browns are coming off of a heartbreaking loss to Vegas last week. Packers barely beat the Browns' division rival, Baltimore, 31-30. Baltimore's going through a lot of COVID issues right now and a lot of injury issues. Lamar Jackson is out. Huntley is out, so Josh Johnson will be their starter on Sunday tomorrow. So that's going to be very entertaining. But we will get to all of that. Nate is also in warm Louisiana, so he's feeling good. But yeah, first thing we want to always make sure to take care of is this pre-snap again on Wisconsin, sponsored by Artec Ventures. Thank you as always to Artec Ventures for taking care of us around here. And what I do want to do before we get into some specific Packers talk is I want to take a little bit of a look around the NFL. You guys know I do this. So San Francisco lost to Tennessee on Thursday Night Football, last rendition of Thursday Night Football we will have this year. They lost 20-17, last-minute field goal by Reggie Bullock. Thank goodness for him. So San Francisco falls to the bottom of the NFC playoff picture. They're still in it. They're still in the thick of it. But Jimmy Garoppolo had another bad game. So I'm expecting to continue to see that from Jimmy G for the rest of the year. And then today on Christmas, we have two very good games. At 3:30, we have Packers-Browns. Obviously, that's going to be the majority of our talk today. However, we also have at 7:15 on NFL Network tonight, we have the Colts versus the Cardinals. Colts are a very interesting football team. They have the best running back in football, Jonathan Taylor, with Derrick Henry out, obviously. And they have a streaking Carson Wentz. If he's good, he's good. If he's bad, he's absolutely terrible. So we'll see what version of the Indianapolis Colts show up today and what version of the Cardinals show up today. Will it be the version that has lost to the Lions and the Packers who had no wide receivers, or is it going to be the version that is one of the best teams in football? We shall see. A little bit of a sneak peek. I like the Colts in that game. Then tomorrow on Sunday, after you are exhausted from a weekend of Christmas action, we have Lions-Falcons. Baltimore against Cincinnati. That is a game that is no longer interesting to me, really just due to the Ravens quarterback situation. It's not going to be as good of a game as we would have thought. Then we have Rams-Vikings, which you don't want to root for the Rams because they're top of that NFC playoff picture right now. They're fighting for the NFC West. They could be a top seed depending on what happens in the last few weeks, but they're playing the Minnesota Vikings, and I refuse to root for the Minnesota Vikings in any way, shape, or form. So go Rams on that one. Then we have another very interesting divisional game, Buffalo versus New England. Honestly, that game is for the division, so that's going to be very interesting, very important to see. We have Jacksonville versus the Jets. That is a game I refuse to watch or talk about unless it somehow has something to do with my fantasy playoffs, and I really hope it doesn't for my own. Then we have Giants versus the Eagles. That's just a messy game. Eagles need to win that to stay in the playoff picture. Tampa Bay versus Carolina. Tampa Bay should take care of business. Chargers versus Houston. Same thing for Los Angeles there. Bears versus Seahawks. I do not care about that game whatsoever. That's just very sad. Then we have Pittsburgh versus Kansas City. Again, Pittsburgh needs to win that football game to stay in the playoff hunt. Kansas City is sitting pretty. They will have Tyreek Hill. Then we have Denver versus Las Vegas. I think that's going to be a very good, very close game. I see Las Vegas winning that. And then we have Washington, Dallas. Dallas should take care of that game fairly easily, but you never know in the NFC East. And then on Monday Night Football, we have two teams struggling to get into the playoff picture. Dolphins versus Saints. Dolphins have been on an incredible run. Saints are going to be starting their rookie quarterback out of Notre Dame, Ian Book. So that is a little bit of around the NFL, what we are going to be looking at. But without further ado, to jump into what you guys really care about, Green Bay Packers versus Cleveland Browns. David Bakhtiari, Billy Turner, Kevin King, and Kingsley Keke are inactive for the Green Bay Packers today. Kevin King was a late addition to the inactives. He was put on the COVID list literally about 10 minutes ago, according to Rob Domofsky. So that is a late addition. Obviously, you guys are pretty well aware by now my thoughts, opinions, and feelings when it comes to Kevin King. And I will give my disclaimer as always. I don't want anything bad to happen to Kevin King. I hope he's healthy. I'm hoping he can test out of this in a couple days and he'll be fine. However, going into a game that the Packers really need to win, let's just say I'm not upset about the fact that Kevin King won't be touching the football field as much as he would have been. Kevin King has had some good games this year. He's been better in moments, but I still trust our top rookie corner in Eric Stokes and our Pro Bowl alternate in Rasul Douglas over Kevin King. And I don't think anybody should really agree with that at this point. When Jair Alexander comes back, and I do believe that he will come back at some point before the Packers end their season, whenever that is. When Jair Alexander comes back, Kevin King will have no reason to touch the football field the majority of the time. He's not a slot corner. He's not playing as a slot corner. He's not really a safety. Although I would be interested to see a full offseason of him kind of transitioning to a later years Charles Woodson role, to see if maybe with his loss of speed, we could give him a little bit of action there, but I really don't see that happening. So yeah, Kevin King is not going to be a prominent role player in the Packers defense once Jair Alexander comes back, and he really hasn't been right now. So yes, having Kevin King out in a late subtraction sense is not great, but it's not something where I'm, sit down, head over my knees, worried about what this game is going to be without Kevin King here. I think the Packers will be perfectly fine. So I have no worries there. Obviously, having our two starting tackles still out, Elton Jenkins obviously out for the year. We're going to be rocking with Yosh and Dennis Kelly once again today with David Bakhtiari and Billy Turner out. So that's what our offensive line is looking at. But hey, Packers did a great job on the offensive line last week against the Ravens. They held together the best that they could. Listen, we're talking about essentially our entire backup offensive line compared to the start of the year. Lucas Patrick and John Runyon were in the mix at the beginning of the year, but other than that, we're rocking with an entire group that really was not supposed to be on the field at the beginning of this season, and if everybody is healthy, would not be our starting offensive line. So the fact that they've held up as well as they have is very impressive and good to me, and I am confident going against the Browns, especially I believe Myles Garrett is out for this football game. Let me double check on that, and you guys can correct me as well. But with some injuries for the Browns, COVID issues for the Browns, the Packers are not facing a 100% healthy, 100% ready to go Cleveland Browns team. That's something, obviously, you love seeing healthy matchups in the NFL. You love seeing everyone ready to go and give it your best shot. However, not necessarily, sitting here crying about it that the Packers are facing a less than healthy Cleveland Browns football team. So that's what we're rolling with today. Shamar Jean-Charles was also a late addition to the COVID list for the Packers. So he's going to be out. A little bit of a drop in the secondary depth for the Packers today. But given Baker Mayfield just coming back, hasn't really practiced in the last few weeks, I don't see a lot of issues there for Green Bay. So that's a little bit of the injury, the COVID recap for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers doing the best he can with that toe. Nothing really to update on that front. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, what he said after the Ravens game the other day, Lambeau Field on Christmas. Where else would you rather be? Aaron Rodgers today is poised to break the all-time Green Bay Packers passing touchdown record held by Brett Favre. Currently, both Favre and Rodgers are at 442. Honestly, I'm surprised Brett Favre has not come out of retirement to make sure that he holds that Green Bay Packers record, because that would be something that Favre would do. Go play for the Jets this week, Brett. Go play for the Ravens or the Saints. They're having some COVID issues. Go throw a couple more touchdown passes. I'm sure you could still do it. On that note, there actually was a rumor, not sure if it was true, but there's a rumor that the Saints reached out to Drew Brees to see if he wanted to come back for a couple weeks. So many COVID issues across all sports, guys coming back, getting second chances. In the NBA, you got ISO Joe in Boston getting another chance for the first time in 4 or 5 years. So obviously, COVID issues are not great, but it's good to see some guys getting some chances that wouldn't because of that. But like Rodgers said, Lambeau Field on Christmas, there's no place you would rather be. Rodgers is going to make history today. I don't know who that touchdown pass is going to go to. Obviously, the easy answer would be Davante Adams. Not really sure what's going to happen with that. But either way, I am really excited. And to everybody who's not watching because you're at the game, I'm very jealous of you. This is a game I really wanted to be at. But I'm here with the family in Texas. Very happy to be here, obviously. But man, Lambeau Field in December on Christmas Day with a chance to put the Packers in. I mean, they already control their own destiny for the number 1 seed in the NFC. And the Packers in the last few years, I forget how many years, but the Packers, give or take, win about 90% of their games at home under Aaron Rodgers in the last few years. That is utterly ridiculous. Football Power Index for ESPN gives the Packers a 68.6% chance of winning this football game. It is much higher than that. You've got the reigning MVP, the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week in Aaron Rodgers. You've got the best running back duo in the NFL, and I said it, best running back duo in the NFL with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. You've got the best wide receiver in the NFL in Davante Adams, and that doesn't even take into account the best blocking wide receiver in the NFL, the best blocking tight end in the NFL, who, by the way, both had very good receiving games last week. You have one of the most dangerous offenses in the history of the NFL. And you have a Cleveland Browns team that is struggling, that is not healthy, sitting at 7-7. They've got a pretty good defense. That's been one of their strong suits this year, but they're just still not a football team that I am scared about whatsoever. Did we beat the Titans last Christmas? Nate asked. That's a very good question. Let's look. We're gonna do a quick little Google search for Packers Christmas games, and let's see if we can do a little. It's just pulling up everything. Nate, I'm gonna need you to do that research for me if you can. I don't think the Packers played on Christmas last year. I feel like I would have remembered that, but I don't particularly know. All right, so what we are going to do is, as always, I need a little bit of a drink because I've been talking, so I'm going to run the MVS promo every Tuesday. A game on Wisconsin at 7 p.m. Central Time. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, number 83, the deep threat, the number 2 wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, comes on Game On Wisconsin to talk to Jacob and the boys about the week prior, the week ahead, everything Green Bay Packers, everything about his dogs. So make sure that you tune in. If you don't know what's going on, here's the intro. I'll be back in a few. All right, and we are back, and you guys know what we're going to do next. We have the offensive keys to the game for the Green Bay Packers today, and honestly, this is going to sound really stupid, given what the Packers have been doing the last few weeks. But honestly, here's my offensive key to the game for today, and it's focused around Matt LaFleur. Just call a quality football game. I really don't need anything crazy out of you. I really don't need trick plays. We don't need a crazy performance from anybody. This is a game the Green Bay Packers should win. This is a game the Green Bay Packers are favored in. They have better football players at almost every position, at every level. There's nothing that the Packers should be able to do outside of special teams, which we don't talk about here on this show. There's nothing outside of special teams the Packers should be able to do or mess up to lose this football game. And it should be a fairly easy win. Now, that being said, here are some of the ways that the Packers could lose the football game. I'm not saying it'll happen, and I think it's highly doubtful. But one of the ways the Packers get in a lot of trouble, and I've said this again and again, is when the Packers go to the pass way too early. They've done a very good job of balancing the run and the pass, almost evenly split 50-50 last week against the Ravens. And honestly, sometimes they've run the ball too much at times. So what I need out of Matt LaFleur and what I need out of Rodgers and the Packers on offense is I just need some classic Rodgers and LaFleur action today. I need some quick hitters. I need some screens. I need some play action. I need some good runs. I need some passing out of the backfield to A.J. Dillon. As long as we're getting the ball spread around, as long as they don't get too one-dimensional, even if the Packers have played terribly in the first quarter this year, I'm not even worried about that at this point. I expect it. I understand it, and I don't even recognize it, really. I'm just like, okay, honestly, for the Packers, the game starts in the second quarter, and that is what it is. I'm not going to get too upset about that because that's the way the Packers have played this year, and we're sitting here at 11-3 and top seed in the NFC and the best record in the NFL. So if you're going to get mad about that, then that's just stupid. The Packers are going into a football game that they should win. All you have to do is play the same exact brand of football that you've played all year, even with injuries, even with guys out, even with people not practicing Aaron Rodgers as much as they would like. You have a football team that is heavily favored and just needs to go out there and do exactly what they've been doing on offense all year, and they will win this football game, and it will not be difficult. Now, with that being said, the Browns do have a good defense. They do have a pretty good run defense. Now, what the Packers cannot do is Matt LaFleur has even admitted. I said last week they were about split 50-50, almost evenly run and pass. That's not something LaFleur wants to do. He wants to be a little bit more pass focused, maybe a 60-40 split, or something like that. So I think that's going to be my specific, because I said I want Matt LaFleur to call a good game, whatever. My specific focus for Matt LaFleur is going to be 60% pass, 40% run. I think if the Packers have that split today, that is something they can hang their hat on at the end of the day. That's a good balance. And within that 40% run this year, we're at a point now where Jones and Dillon have split their carries and their pass catching evenly, which I think is very interesting. Granted, Jones was out for a little while. But LaFleur has admitted that he pretty much just wants to go pretty even um, between Jones and Dillon, and that's very interesting given the fact um, that we paid Aaron Jones so much. We let Corey Linsley walk, which was a decision that I was fine with. However, the running back that we paid, we're now splitting carries with the second round pick, AJ Dillon, who, don't get me wrong, AJ Dillon is a beast, and we drafted him for a reason. But if you're going to pay Aaron Jones that much, it still annoys me a little bit that they don't feed him as much as they probably should. Now, again, Packers are going to win this football game. At the end of the day, as long as the Packers win, I'm happy. Be kumbaya. We're all doing great. But I do think they should feed Aaron Jones just a little bit more. So before I move on to defensive keys to the game, let me know what your offensive keys to the game are. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Really, I think that as long as we come down to a quality balance on offense, and as long as we don't get too one-dimensional, pass or run, Green Bay Packers should be perfectly fine today. Interesting. So yeah, those are my offensive keys to the game. Again, I'm going to go with a pretty even split, 60% pass, 40% run. I think that will get us pretty good victory today. Defensively, we can move on to that. Basically, stop Nick Chubb. The only time the Packers have lost badly at home in the last few years is when they got gouged by the run. Specifically in my mind right now is Dalvin Cook in the second game against the Vikings last year. He absolutely destroyed us from the inside out. So in my mind, as long as that doesn't happen again, Browns are a good football team. They run the ball pretty well. They're averaging 139 yards rushing. Packers are only allowing 8 yards rushing per game. So there's a pretty big disparity there. For example, the Packers rush about 106 yards a game. The Browns allow about 105. So that's a pretty good predictor of where some of those numbers may land. But for Cleveland, their running game is going to be the biggest thing today. The Browns do have Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry back, so they do have the main points in their passing attack. However, Nick Chubb is the focus of that offense. So we've got Devondre Campbell in the middle, who should have been a Pro Bowler, by the way. You've got Devondre Campbell in the middle. Kenny Clark is back. J.C. Tretter, the center for the Browns, former Green Bay Packer, is out. So we have two dominant middle of the field inside players in Kenny Clark and in Devondre Campbell. I need to make sure that we are attacking the center of that offensive line today. I don't care really about the edge rushers as much. I want to, honestly, I don't want to emphasize the pass rush because if you do that, you're going to let Nick Chubb bounce a lot of runs to the outside, and I don't like that. So if you're Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith, Jonathan Garvin, Tipa Galele, I need you to make sure you set the edge. Keep one of your arms outside. Make sure you're setting the edge because if you don't do that, that's much more of an issue. On the inside, we got Kenny Clark, Tyler Lancaster, Dean Lowry, Big Jack Heflin. And you've got Devondre Campbell, Chris Barnes patrolling the middle. Those are my keys to the game, the guys on the inside. If you can stop Nick Chubb, if you can make Baker Mayfield try and beat you, well, let me just put it this way. He's not going to beat you. And when you have two top corners in the NFL, and Eric Stokes and Rasul Douglas, I'm perfectly fine with Baker Mayfield trying to go out there and beat you with his top target being Jarvis Landry. That's not something that I'm worried about. That's not something that concerns me. I think the Green Bay Packers will be just fine when it comes to that. So defensively, my keys to the game are on the inside. I need to make sure that my boys inside lock it down. Kenny Clark, be as dominant as you've been all year. Pressure the quarterback, pressure Nick Chubb, get some tackles for loss, get some hits on the quarterback, make the Cleveland offense uncomfortable, and the Green Bay Packers defense will be absolutely fine. So that's my defensive key to the game. Nothing complicated, nothing crazy, but want to make sure that we focus on the run today because that's where the Green Bay Packers could get in a lot of trouble if the Browns just hold the ball forever, gash us on the running game, and keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. So with that, Couple things left before we wrap up. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at MJ Hurley Sports. I'll be providing you some game day coverage today. And then for the last couple of weeks, we'll be good to go into the playoffs. I will be here every single week before and after every single game to get you going there. So I'm going to go bold predictions, and then we'll go score predictions. Then we'll get a couple comments, and then we'll get out of here and let you guys go enjoy your families and go enjoy some Christmas Green Bay Packers football. My bold predictions on offense, I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers, 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Like I said, I want a little bit more emphasis, and I think Matt LaFleur wants a little bit more emphasis on the passing game today. And with that, my other offensive bold prediction is I'm going with a touchdown from Equinemius St. Brown. You've got Marquez Valdez-Scantling is out on the COVID list right now, so we don't have the Packers' big speed deep threat. EQ is pretty much the other speedy guy that we've got. Allen Lazard is going to kill it on third down. Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. But if you want that other guy that's going to kill you with speed, it's pretty much Equinemius St. Brown. So with that, I think Rodgers has a big day again. He's going for that MVP, and you can't convince me otherwise. And I'm not even saying whether or not he deserves it. I'm saying what Aaron Rodgers is doing. He's a man who plays with a chip on his shoulder. And there's a very big chip on his shoulder after some of the things that happened earlier in the year, whether you agree with him or not. He's playing, again, like a man on a mission. He has a very hot hand, and he's going to continue that through the rest of the season, especially with some of the matchups the Green Bay Packers have. The Browns don't scare me. The Vikings defense doesn't scare me, and the Detroit defense doesn't scare me. And the Packers want to get that number 1 seed, so they're going to be playing hard the last 3 games unless they somehow clinch the number 1 seed in the next 2 weeks. So Aaron Rodgers is going to go out there and win himself an MVP, and that's going to start today with a 300-yard, 3-touchdown performance from Rodgers. On the defensive end, I'm going to go with an interception from Devondre Campbell and a sack and a half plus from Kenny Clark. Clark is coming off the COVID list, but I think he's going to do some big things, and I think Devondre Campbell is going to prove exactly why he was a Pro Bowl snub. Obviously, All-Pro, that list is a little bit more important than than Pro Bowl. We found that out. Mitchell Trubisky was a Pro Bowler a few years ago. We saw how that ended. So, obviously, Pro Bowl is what Pro Bowl is. But I wouldn't be mad to see Devondre Campbell get an interception, pull up the snub shirt that he got from his buddy Zadarius Smith, hopefully. And I think that could be fun. So those are my bold predictions today. Again, I don't think this is going to be a crazy game from anyone in particular, but I think this is going to be a solid win from the Green Bay Packers. That it has a potential for a blowout, but I'm not going to predict that. So one more time, make sure to follow me at MJ Hurley Sports. Make sure to follow us at all of our social media at Game On Wisconsin. We are doing some fantastic things over here, and I want to make sure that you guys are on top of all of that. So if you haven't already, follow us on social media, Game On Wisconsin, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. If you subscribe on YouTube, you get notifications every time we go live. I'm not the only person that goes live on here. We got a lot of other stuff going on. So make sure you subscribe on all of our platforms, follow all of that good stuff, and make sure that you are on top of all of the content coming out of Game On Wisconsin. And with that, my prediction for the Green Bay Packers today, Cleveland Browns, is going to be a 31-17 win. Once again, nothing crazy. Couple touchdown win. Probably a drive starting 5-6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Packers up by a touchdown. Go score another touchdown, solidify a win. Nothing crazy. But once again, I think this is going to be a very solid performance from Aaron Rodgers. I think the defense will hold up against a good running attack, shut down Baker Mayfield, and do a very good job all around. And as always, we don't talk about the special teams because that's scary and that's sad, and we don't like talking about that, other than the fact that Corey should have been a Pro Bowler. I will say it. Best punting net average in the NFL. Should have been a Pro Bowler. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching. It has been a pleasure. It is Christmas. Merry Christmas to all who celebrate. I'm not going to keep you any longer because you guys want to go celebrate with your families. I want to go celebrate with my family. We got some stuff to do here. So with that, thank you everybody for watching. As always, my name is MJ Hurley. This has been the pre-snap at Game One Wisconsin, sponsored by Artec Ventures. It has been a pleasure. I will not be doing the post route once again as a reminder, but I will be back next week for the pre-snap and post route, assuming my flight out of Dallas gets out on time, because Minnesota, 7:20 p.m. Central Time, football against the Packers next week. So assuming I get out of here on time, good to go for that. But once again, Merry Christmas. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the football, and I will see you next week.